love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavill, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavill. We're inside the HBCU Sports Lab. The rest of the team is traveling, but they're gonna try to get on at different parts of the show. Charles had an early flight this morning, so he should be landing now actually. And Mike has an earlier flight, so he's trying to get through the Atlanta airport, and many people traveled understand that. But I do have AD Drew. And we are on show 600. So, welcome to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and A.D. Drew. Welcome to episode 600, as I said, of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small. From the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, along with my co-host, Mike Watson, Charles Bishop. We're filming from our hotels, airports, everywhere probably except for our home studios. With that being said, I want to say congratulations, Texas Southern University, Jackson State University for winning the Celebration Bowl, I should say. The Tigers got it done. And I was thinking about Texas Southern and Prairie View because I officially put my name in the transfer portal as a fan. So just wanted everybody to know that I've selected the Jackson State University to do my last year as I've graduated and I have a year of eligibility left. So I'm going to spend that celebrating with Jackson State University. Just saying. They made the offer, treated me really well this weekend. So all is all. With that being said, A.D. Drew, how you doing today? While Drew is working on his mute button, I'll keep it going as we got into things pretty well and fascinated from that. Look at that, episode 600. That's a big deal for us. We're excited that we could continue to build all that. We just celebrated 500 this summer. So you see all the work we've done, adding some shows during the week to make sure that you cover all aspects of it. But now that we have Drew, let's see if he's back and ready. Drew, how you doing this morning? Yeah, we still had no sound. So let me give you a couple of updates. As you know,
by check.
Yeah, we got you now.
You got me
doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing good. How was your visit with Jackson State? I heard you say you were in the transfer portal, and what was it that made you sign, Dr. Cavill?
Man, it's just like a family atmosphere. I mean, as you talked about the visit, I literally made the visit last week for the SWAC championship game, and they treated me like I felt like I was home. I felt like it was family. It was Johnny T's, the stadium, all the folks, friends showing you love. I just felt like it was the choice to make.
Well, giving the results from yesterday, I understand your decision and your fandom being in the portal. I just hope you were able to negotiate a fair NIL along to go with your portal transfer.
Well, the NIL it's been there. The NIL just comes with somebody of their talent, but the collective they have over there was next level. And I won't specifically get into numbers. That's just not the way that I do things. But I can tell you that they are well over there. They are well in Jackson State, so they took care of me. I'll put it that way.
Wait a minute, clock. Dr. Cavill, please reset the game clock to as we heard that throughout all of the first half. They were having clock issues there in the stadium on yesterday. We need to please reset the clock to episode number 598.
Straightforward. yes, indeed. Good stuff. Good stuff. All the lab listeners getting in there, and as you know, the Celebration Bowl took place yesterday in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome, MERCEDES-BENZ, as they call it now. I'm thinking old school when they had the Heritage Bowl. But Jackson State really took it to South Carolina State, 28-7. The game, in terms of how it felt, Jackson State seemed in total control. There was a moment where you'd say, all right, maybe if South Carolina State can make this play, the Bulldogs will find a way to at least make it interesting or make some folks nervous on the other side. Jackson State had 2 touchdowns called back by penalties. One of them you really didn't see was late. The second one, most folks thought was a little questionable. I think it was correct, but it was one of those technical type calls where oftentimes you'd see it. And some people didn't like it clearly. But regardless, it wasn't a difference maker in the game. The defense for Jackson State, I think over a period of time, people were really going to get a different understanding of how talented this defense was. I think at this time, as they were going through it, I'm not sure people understood just the dominance that they had. So that was fascinating. So I want to kind of get your general overall thoughts of the Celebration Bowl and all the events, everything around it.
You talk about the Jackson State being dominant, Dr. Cavill. Usually the goal of a defense is to come and take one element or the other away from their opponent. Either we're going to take the run game and force them to pass, or we're going to take their passing game away and force them to run. Very rarely, Dr. Cavill, especially at this time of the season, do you see a team that's able to take away both elements, as Jackson State totally dominated South Carolina State defensively. And I don't know if you remember in the fourth quarter when Eric Phoenix came back into the game, and I'm trying to find the play in the fourth quarter, when he hit the 60-yard pass to put South Carolina State down near the Jackson State red zone. Do you know, Dr. Cavill, on that one play, South Carolina State doubled their offensive production on one play? At that point in time, through 3 quarters, they had 56 yards of total offense, and that one play was worth 62 yards. That's what I mean by taking away both elements and dominating your opponent. Jackson State came out, did what they did. You mentioned the 2 scores that were taken off of the board due to the yellow handkerchief on the field. Also, Dr. Cavill, you forgot about the blocked field goal that was also in there at the end of the first half, which could have been an additional 3 points. So that's 17 points.
And then you had another late field goal that was blocked. Missed.
No, it was wide right, if I remember right. So we're talking another 20 points. Now let's talk about some records. Let's talk about some records that were set, Dr. Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
Largest margin of victory in the Celebration Bowl, 21 points. Beat the 20-point victory by North Carolina A&T over Alcorn State. I believe that was 2019. That was the 100-point game. Those of y'all who remember that game, 64-44 was that score. So they beat that by 1 point with the margin of victory. Time of possession. Jackson State set a Celebration Bowl record with time of possession, holding the ball for 37 minutes.
That was amazing.
And let's not forget the 19-play, 9+ minute. I think it was 9:40 if I remember the number.
Right under 10 minutes. Yep.
Yeah, just under 10 minutes. Also, Celebration Bowl records when it comes to number of plays on a scoring drive and time of possession on a scoring drive. But let's flip it. There's one that I want to talk about on the defensive side, Dr. Cavill, and this is a record for South Carolina State. I don't care how much you want to talk about Jackson State, you have to give linebacker number 11, Aaron Smith, all of the credit in the world. He shattered the tackles record for the Celebration Bowl, Dr. Cavill. The previous record was 11, set by, and I can't remember, it was from Central's first appearance in the Celebration Bowl. I believe that was 2016. The previous record was 11, Dr. Cavill. Aaron Smith had 12 solos. So he set the record by himself. Right. He had a total of 17 tackles. Once again, let me say that. Let me put that in perspective. The previous record was 11 tackles. Aaron Smith had 12 solo tackles of his 17. Talk about blowing a record away. Unfortunately, on the wrong side of it overall. But one reason he was able to have so many tackles, Dr. Cavill, Jackson State ran 20. I'm trying to find the number. It was 20 plays more than South Carolina State. So he had a few more opportunities to make a tackle.
Great comments, great analysis, great numbers going into the data set. As we said, I appreciate that. It was funny. Christopher put on there talking about, well, MEAC now complained that they have too much time off. That kind of was going around in there. So that was intriguing. People were interested in that. 1 second, we're going to take a break and come back on the other side and do the official so we can be on time for our interview. Then we'll give you a chance to break down some more stuff because we're going to really get into the game. This is our last Sunday show for the fall season episodes as we do during football season. So we'll go back to our more traditional Tuesday and Thursday schedule. If some big things come up, we might give you a notification that we'll do a Sunday. But all the positions in the poll rankings last week, as you know, did not play. When you're talking about nobody dropping out the following week in week 15, 3 teams stayed receiving votes. And the 7 through 3 were all the same. We'll unveil that in the next segment. But final statement was number 2, South Carolina State lost to number 1, Jackson State Tigers in a dominant fashion, as AD mentioned, with the score not maybe indicating just how dominant it was, 28-7. So South Carolina State falls after having a great season, 9-3, 5-0 in conference race, as everybody knows. And Jackson State at number 1. The Tigers defeated the number 2 South Carolina State Bulldogs 28-7 in the Cricket Celebration Bowl on yesterday. They improved to 12-2 overall, 8-0 as they were in conference play. With that, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll unveil our final poll. It shouldn't be surprising to anybody, but we'll do it just for Dexter.
I want to see who number 3. That's what I want to see. Who number 3, yeah. Dr. Cavill? That's the drama at number 3.
And I saw the polls as they were coming in. It'll be some interesting to see where that falls. Did in this final poll, did anything really change? How close was it? Maybe we'll see that kind of stuff. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this break and see what AD thinks.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted CAVIL'S voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. CAVIL'S Voice, CAVIL'S Voice, CAVIL'sVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As I told you, Mike was getting through the airport, so he's able to join us. Mike, do you have an announcement to make for us today?
Yes. Wait, are we doing a marshal with the whole team is in the portal?
After further consideration,
It might as well be the whole team. One of us was already there, so
after further consideration, I've given it thought. I've met with the coaches. I'd like to give thanks to God, my Lord, Christ, and Savior. I'd like to announce that I have chosen to be honorary Jackson State alumni. It was an important decision, but I had to make it. The experience has been incredible. The call and response just won me over. The NIT and everything, just a tremendous environment. So I got me a new scarf, tag still on it. So I just want to say thank you to God. Thank you to my family and friends. I still love you, PB Nation, but after this experience, it's just a decision I had to come to.
That's all I'm going to say.
Congratulations. Welcome to the team. It's good that you're joining me on this travel. It was an unbelievable visit. I told you would have a great time, and I told you need to come with me, Mike. And I can't believe of what we're going to be able to do over this next year celebrate.
I look forward to the journey. It's going to be a wonderful journey, and I have no doubt about this decision. So thank you.
When PP hires their new coach, will you two regret this decision? That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, we might jump right back in the portal. It's
that easy nowadays.
Exactly.
It's really not an issue. We figured all this out. We still got a year of eligibility. We got our COVID year. What are you talking about? It's good. We good.
And we might be able to go back and get your medical.
Yeah. I certainly need to look at the medical. With this being said, let's get this poll rankings done and get through this part of it. As we said here, nobody dropped out this week as we do the final poll in week 16. Receiving votes dropping out, as you saw. Nobody dropped out this week. Receiving votes was Morgan State. They are 6-6, 3-2. We have Alcorn State also finishing the season at 6-6 and 5-3. Alabama A&M Bulldogs are 6-6 and 3-5 with 133, 32, and 31 points respectively. Let's get in the top 7. Southern Jaguars, they remain in that 7th spot after falling last week. Their loss to Jackson State. Now we see that it wasn't just the Jaguars. It was another case of just how talented the Jackson State Tigers are this year. The Jaguars fall to 8-6 and 7-1 as they complete the season. At number 6, you have Alabama State Hornets, 7-5, 5-3. While they did not win the division, we see that the Eastern Division continues to have a stranglehold in terms of how they dominate the West. I think that was a lot of it for a lot of folks. They come in with 172 points. Bringing us to number 5, Florida A&M Rattlers sit at 7-5, 5-3, 174 points. as they are also out of that mighty Eastern Division. Whoever comes out of there just seems to be able to get it all done. Maybe that's where I need to get Prairie to transfer over to the East Division. Maybe that's the ticket of Texas Southern. And number 4, this is the question that Drew had. Tennessee State Tigers, they stay at number 4. They are not able to climb up further. 9-4, 6-2, 182. I will take you through the lens of the rankings. They did gain a couple of more points, but not enough to eclipse number 3, which is North Carolina Central, which finished at 8-3, 4-1, 85 points. So they remain at that third spot. So while things closed up, it was not enough for the final poll ranking. And a lot of people had a lot of interest in it. A lot of folks were going back and forth debating, not just on our show, but fans came up and said, hey, how far would South Carolina State fall? It was amazing to me. People were intrigued about that level. And all those that shout out to follow the show, just want to say appreciate your support and you're amazing. But at number 2, South Carolina State Bulldogs, although they lost, they were able to remain at the number 2 spot after having a great season. They fall to 9-3, 5-0, as we said, 219 points. And Jackson State is winner of this year's. Jackson State earns the 2024 HBCU Major Division Championship, finishing with a record of 12-2. Great season, 8-0. All 11 first place votes, 230 points, and they remain at number 1. Take our last break here. We're going to bring him on. We have Coach T.C. Taylor on, so we're going to keep it moving and get right into the interview. Let me first say congratulations. You're going to win a lot of accolades. I know that's not who you are, but you deserve it this season. So sit back and listen a little bit. You are officially Dr. CAVIL'S inside the HBCU Sports Lab Major Division Championship after you took home the Celebration Bowl. You're going to do the Jackson State Tigers and all the players, administrators, as well as your alumni are going to get a chance to celebrate, because you will be recognized in just about every poll out there as the national champion. Mm-hmm. It snuck in. Yesterday I got a chance to say congratulations, and I think you kind of move, as always, you solving things. I'm not even sure you got a chance to take a breath. You're worried about the family, making sure they're good, getting your place where you need to so you can fly back the team. I was like, man, he always on the clock.
Yeah, it's been a grind all season long. It's been a long season. Yeah. Just kind of just taking it all in this morning. We flew back last night, landed last night at the airport, got home, tried to get some rest, jumped up this morning. So we won't have, I won't be with the team again till Monday, but just taking it all in right now. Still kind of tired from everything that kind of went on, traveling and everything, but just blessed to be a national champ this morning.
Again, congratulations. My understanding that a lot of folks were trying to meet y'all at the airport. Were they able to make that happen?
Yeah, I heard about, actually, Doc, I had just pulled off and somebody was telling me that, but they said there was some people pulling up. I had just pulled out of there. Like I said, I was trying to get home and get to that bed.
I get it. Especially after I charged you up and say, can you be like whatever you need? So, man, he's all right with me. I did want to say this. I announced this morning, open up the show, that I entered into the transfer portal as alumni of Prairie View and Texas Southern University. We had such a great experience last week in Jackson, Mississippi, in the transfer portal and appreciate the offer, T.C. Taylor, and I have accepted. My colleague, Mike Washington, as you see with his all as well, he just made his announcement in the second segment that he has come along. So you have 2 more that you need to make sure that you suit up. Officially, we have joined the Jackson State University and want to work with you however necessary. So thank you, Coach.
Oh, hey, I appreciate it. Here's the thing. Anytime you can get 2 big-time recruits in and you didn't have to do an official visit, you're doing something right. So, hey, man, easy work for me. Let's go. Come join the family.
I appreciate it. Open on. Yeah, we had a great time teasing Charles last night. He loved it. He's landing, so he tried to join it. Maybe he'll be able to join before you get you out of here. But he wanted to make sure he told you, as he told you yesterday, how proud he was. Yeah. I was amazed at the number of Jackson fans not were just overjoyed, but they were overjoyed to the motion where you seen a couple of tears. I was like, oh, okay, this is how it goes. I even seen you overwhelmed, if you would, before I share the platform with him to ask you a question. Where did all that come from? If you would give us a little bit of insight of what you're willing to share.
It was a national championship game, Doc, and just being able to say that, my coaching staff, my football team, myself was able to bring that home to Jackson. It meant a lot. And then just when you glanced around in that stadium to see the excitement on all those fans' faces, all those people from all over, the alums from everywhere. Just they were so excited. I'm talking about young, old, everybody. It was just a big celebration. Right after you could see the energy really change right after Jonas Fertillion, catches that last touchdown and kind of sealed the game. It just, and then the boom, they started, I think I could hear the boom playing "We Are the Champions," in the stands. It was just a great moment. And, as a coach, that's the kind of stuff you dream of, to win a national championship. And then in my case, it's a school that, I'm an alum of, I played it, so what better story?
Yes, it doesn't get any better than that. I just want to know if I, write and it gets accepted by Disney, that I want to make sure I get some of the credit towards writing the story the way it is. I'll make sure that the family gets the larger percentage. I won't do like how they do you in the industry. I'll make sure you get the fair. I just want a little piece and opportunity to write the story.
If we do that, Doc, just get me some free entrance to the park, because my family loves going there, and them prices, they be breaking a brother back over there. So.
That's 100. We can make that happen. With that being said, let me let Mike jump in here, because I know he's on the clock. We don't want to make sure he catch that plane. We don't want no problem.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? And I apologize, I'm in the airport as well. So as you can see, I made my decision official. I just want to thank you and the Jackson State people. I mean, the culture, the call and response between the band and it just won me over. So thank you for having me. And I look forward to working with you and the Jackson State team. Thank you. Now, I may hit the portal back and go back to PV, but right now I'm with Jackson State. So, Coach, you probably haven't had a chance to get up in the attic and get that Christmas tree yet.
No, hey, don't say that too loud. She might hear you now.
So, and you've had less than 24 hours to think about it, and I asked you this again, but thinking about it in the dominant performance, and you look at Dr. CAVIL'S rankings and where the East is and how physical those teams are. Have you had a chance to give, thought to how dominant your team was with the MEAC team, when the reverberating thought was, well, the MEAC's more physical. Their defense is whatever. Did you think your team would be as dominant as they were? I know they were prepared, but did you think your team, and if so, what was the thought process to get them to that point?
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but just watching them, we felt like we could control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That we wanted to get the run game started on offense, and we said it. They got a really good defensive line over there, but we had to continue to work the cut. We knew we might get stoned here and then pick up 3 there, hit 5 there, but we wanted to wear on them, and try to wear those guys down. You saw throughout the game, they had a lot of guys going down with cramps, fatigue. You had a couple guys just trying to get off the field, and that's what we preach here. This season, we're gonna make people tap out. We want to make people tap out. With Eric Phoenix out there, we felt like he hadn't been hit all year. We felt like he hadn't really seen a lot of pressure, and that was the plan there, to get to him and let's get him on the ground in a violent way and see how many times he's willing to get up. And, he didn't show up a couple of series. We were wondering about that. So, those guys got after him. A team like South Carolina State, who was averaging so many points, and for our defense to go out there and shut them out like that, with only allowing 7 points, with one of the better quarterbacks in HBCU football. I can't say enough about everybody on that side of the ball, with Coach Quinn, those coaches, defensive coaches, the plan they put into play. But we've been preaching physicality all year. If you watched us play all year, it's been a physical brand of football. Even if you go back to the very first game with Louisiana Monroe team, we were right there with them 2013 going in the fourth quarter. And I knew then, we're going to be able to hold up with a lot of people in the trenches. And that's what you saw on yesterday.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
AD Drew, if you would please follow up.
First of all, I want to start by saying congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now I got to ask you about a couple of the elephants in the room and some obvious storylines. Number one, for the first time since 1971, Jackson State won a postseason football game. Now, put that into perspective. My mother was pregnant with me the last time Jackson State won a postseason football game, and I think you had some guys by the name of Peyton on the campus at that point in time. Both Peyton brothers were at Jackson State during that time, and also the SWAC for the first time has gone back to back in the Celebration Bowl era.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to you as the head coach to actually, accomplish those feats with the group of guys, your defense, as you like to call it, with that group of guys to be the leader of that? See, y'all thought I was going to another storyline. See, y'all need to get y'all heads right.
No, I mean, it feels great. I remember yesterday when we get into the airport, the people out there doing the skins stuff, we boarding the plane, they was looking at me, man, you just made history. You're part of history. And that's so crazy to hear, because I just, I give a glory to God, these players, these coaches, and we just love football. We just love playing the game, regardless of the opponent. We just gonna come out there and play the game. But it does mean a lot when you consistently hear it and you are, putting your name in history as a coach. But what's crazy about it, I guess, it just doesn't hit me like that. This is just my second year. This is just my second year leading this program. That's why, we had expectations of doing this, winning a national championship this year and everything. But I still, God continued to bless me, got a lot of football ahead of me, so I'm just taking it one day at a time and just loving what I do right now. The SWAC right now it's a long season in the SWAC. It's a little different than that MEAC side. I played MEAC ball. I not played, but I've coached over there at Central. I had a lot of success, and that's what before it kind of dispersed. But right now the SWAC is 12 teams in the SWAC. You have your conference championship game. You have to win the East first. You got to win a SWAC title, and then you turn around and get ready for a national championship game. So it's a physical brand, in the SWAC as well. You got to really be tough. You got to lean on these strength coaches and your strength staffs in order to get these players, ready to go. Get your coaches, fired up and ready to go, and get these players ready to go each and every week. And that's what you're seeing. Like last year, Willis Simmons had a great FAMU team. They kicked my butt pretty good, I tell you that, down there in Miami. And they finished the deal. No different with us this year. When you can recruit at a high level, bring in the right mix of coaches, even your equipment staff have to be on point. Your training staff have to be on point to get you to a game like we played in on yesterday. So it's a lot going to play, and the SWAC is just getting it right now.
Can I get a quick one in, Dr. Cavill, before we go to our next person?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. The other thing I wanted to ask you, Coach Taylor, is you were there 2 years ago as an assistant coach. Now you're as a head coach. But one of the biggest difference between 2 years ago and 3 years ago and this year was 1 week versus 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. What were some of the key differences in your preparation from the 2 week time span that you had previously to this 1 week time span that you had this time?
Somebody asked me that the other day. I think the thing for us, we did a good job as a staff that prior week we had off for the SWAC championship game. We used that week to get ahead for yesterday's game. And that was another good thing. We knew it was going to be South Carolina State. We had already played Southern twice, so we got that plan together. I think early that off week going into the SWAC championship game, we got a good plan together for Southern, and I think we were done by Wednesday. So after that, we jumped right on South Carolina State, even though we knew we had to play Southern, but we knew it'd be a quick turnaround. We knew it'd be a quick turnaround, and then once you go take care of Southern, you already have that plan in place. So it didn't matter to us. We wanted to play for a national championship. I knew how to prepare. I knew how to get this coaching staff in place in order to win that game. So we were ready to go, which what you saw out there on yesterday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Drew. Appreciate the answer. Well, Coach T.C. Taylor, we brought in John Grant. He, as you know, Executive Director, Celebration Bowl, that put all this together. He told you all his platitude yesterday, but we thought it was appropriate to give him a chance to come on here and, again, recognize you for your accomplishments of the season and whatever else he wants to put on the table. With that being said, John Grant, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, John.
I've never seen where everyone, hits the portal in one day. And it seems like everyone here now are honorary Jackson State alums and fans. Obviously, that's something that I can't do, but I can do this. I want to congratulate you. Jackson State today is the only national championship program in the state of Mississippi.
Yes.
I'm gonna let that soak in for you for a moment.
Wow.
And that what you now have accomplished, you and your entire staff and team, administration at the university, you have actually elevated the state of Mississippi to national championship status this year with that win. And I want to congratulate you on that. And my final point is I have a question, but I'm going to reiterate this because you looked in my eyes in July and told me I'm coming to Atlanta.
Yep.
You looked in my eyes in, I think it was October when you played Florida A&M, and you asked me, have you got my stuff ready? Because I'm coming to Atlanta.
I remember that.
You looked in my face on the field pregame at the SWAC championship, and you said, I'm coming to Atlanta. And lo and behold, you were true to your word, not just one time, but every single time. And I want to say congratulations to that, but I do have to ask you, what did it feel like to you at the moment when that trophy was handed to you, standing there on the stage? What was that feeling that you had to be able to accept it and then raise it up to the Jackson State fans and in front of the media?
Just a major blessing. It was a major blessing. Just it was, the feeling was unbelievable. The previous day, we did the walkthrough in that stadium, and I had my young son with me that was there for all these celebration bowls. My whole family was there, but we were walking out the tunnel when we were done, and he and my 11-year-old son were talking. I said, "Man, you remember this walk out this tunnel when we lost this game a couple years ago?" And he said, "I do, Dad." I said, "No," he said, "but you're going to win tomorrow." Mm-hmm. And when he told me that, I was relaxed. I was good. I knew we was good. And to go up there on that stage and hoist that trophy up. And again, to feel the energy in that stadium on yesterday, it was 36,000 people in there.
36.
To feel that energy up in that stadium, to look down at my team, I'm looking at them, they in confetti doing confetti angels. And I was like, wow, everything that you promised me, Lord, you told me if I just work hard and, get the right people around me, get the right players in here, this is, what's going to be the end right here. So that's what I felt at that moment, and I didn't want to come down. Y'all, they made me come down. I wanted to stay up there for a little longer, but
it's like, hey, they waiting for you in there.
Right. Leave me up here to December 25.
36,823 was the official attendance.
Okay. Well, I did hear you say at the press conference, when you accepted the trophy, you were like, hey, they were about a couple of seconds late on that confetti because you were waiting for the confetti.
And if you look at the video, I did watch it when I got home. When I picked it up, I'm looking around, because I've seen coaches, win that trophy, and that was one of my, goals too. I wanted to experience that confetti falling on me. I wanted to experience that. I got a pocket full of it in my jacket right now that I brought home that I'm put up as a keepsake. That's I'm gonna take that to the office today, and then I'm gonna put that right there in my window. And I got to go get some 2025 confetti as well.
That must have been a memo because I was on the field, and besides all the crying, JSU, I saw everybody putting confetti in their pocket. Oh, yeah. Charles Bishop stuffed both pockets full of confetti.
And Coach, I think one final thing for me, I was standing and I heard the crowd chanting your name.
Wow.
And even to me, and I'm in what we're doing, I've never heard that before at one of our games from Coach. And I want to know what that must have felt like to you, because I did see you after the last touchdown. You were running up and down the sidelines. I think at that point you probably felt that, okay, we got a minute or so, but you felt that you were there. Mm-hmm. What was that like for you?
Oh man, that moment will never escape my my memory, my mind. As a JSU former player, a JSU fan, now the head coach, the leader. I'm gonna tell you like this. 2 years ago, we know once Coach left, and I was assigned to lead this charge. It was a lot on me, but I never cracked under the pressure. I never cracked under the pressure. And I always tell people I don't believe in pressure. I believe in preparation. And, all the hard work that, and to hear those fans screaming my name, it was crazy. It's a moment that I'll never forget. And, it happened so quick, and it got so loud. You could just feel the energy up in there. But it's something that I'll never forget. And I just think about my sons and stuff, for them to hear them calling their dad name. I know it makes them proud, and my entire family and my team. So that's what that moment meant to me.
Well, thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations. You are our 2024 HBCU National Champion, Cricket Celebration Bowl National Champion, and I like to say championships that are earned on the field are the best. And you certainly demonstrated that throughout the season. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Grant, and I appreciate everything you do, man. That Cricket Celebration Bowl means everything to HBCU football. And we got to continue to support that, man. And I look forward to coming down there and getting my red jackets on next year.
They serious about the red jackets. I think when Will Simmons came up, he's like, I'm giving him a jacket and all these. That you put together.
That's serious business there, though. I just felt that energy when you brought up, Coach, one of the greats, Coach Broadway, Sam Washington, Trey Oliver is a heck of a football coach. And I'm looking down there at my table, and I told my wife, we sitting there, I said, I'm going to get me one of those.
Now,
I said, I'm going to get me one of those. And she said, I believe you can get it. And, we were able to get it done on yesterday. So I appreciate everything you do, Mr. Grant.
And I don't know if you know or you saw him, but Coach couldn't be there Thursday night, but he flew in Saturday morning with the purpose of getting his jacket. So I'm not sure if you saw him, but he did.
Yeah, he sent me a text out right after the game, said he was there, and then I saw a picture that he was at the game. So, shout out to Coach Simmons and the great things he's done.
Excellent. Congrats, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Grant.
Before we take our last break, Coach T.C. Taylor, any words that you want to share with us? Again, we all say congratulations and platitudes to you in regards to this major accomplishment.
Yeah, just been a great season. To be 12-2 right now, I feel so blessed. I'm so happy for the JSU fans. And let me say this too, be careful and safe on that road coming back 20 West. I know you had a lot of fun last night, but everybody get back home safe. And let's continue to build. Let's continue to grow this brand. We're just getting started. We're going to continue to recruit, but just having fun right now. Today, I'm going to just sit here on the edge of that couch I talked about to you guys and try to dodge my wife all day, not have to go up in that attic and get that Christmas tree.
But you deserve at least one day, Coach. At least one. Monday is fair game, baby, but not today, baby.
Hey, he sounded serious last night on that podium about having to get that Christmas tree.
It is serious.
Hey, guess what I got when they get home from school? Guess what I did while y'all was at school?
But no, and just everything that you guys do, like when I walked into that media room to see all those familiar faces, the support, that's what this brand is all about, and that's what we got to continue to do. The things that the Celebration Bowl, ABC television, Mr. Grant, all that comes into play. And the teams having the responsibility of putting a good brand of football out there. That's what it's all about. That's what makes that weekend so magical, the week leading up, all the events and everything. So let's continue to grow. Let's continue to grow.
Certainly. We'll be back after this last break. And again, congratulations to you, Coach T.C. Taylor. Thank you for joining us, John Grant, and the others stay on board. We'll be right back after this break.
Thank you, guys.
At Auto Masters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794. And oh yeah, tell him Sonia sent you.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Vills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As you see, we have Charles that has joined us as well. John Grant has stayed with us. So Charles, I wanted to give you a moment as we entered the transfer portal and the brotherhood is good. So we just want to say thank you for giving us that opportunity last night, and make it all true. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give you a chance to have your words and truly tell us a little bit about how you felt.
I was overwhelmed, to be honest with you. As something that I've watched this Celebration Bowl game grow from the first game that we covered, Dr. Cavill. We've been at all of them, and to actually see my alma mater hoist the trophy after having a couple other attempts, it was an overwhelming feeling. I have to say I was really proud of Jackson State, really proud of the alumni. You saw, they wore their emotions on their sleeves out there yesterday. So it was a really good, great feeling to finally say I got one, come away with a trophy.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm gonna go back to you, John Grant, and see if you have a follow-up question you want to have for Charles, since we're allowing him to have his moment.
Well, Charles, I noticed you have your camera off. You may still be crying over there. But in all seriousness, this has been a long time coming. I know for your university. Can you tell me, when you knew or you felt that the game was clinched by Jackson State? Tell me about your. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think that opening punt it really set the tone, in terms of even though it got called back, but really kind of felt a real sense of confidence that Jackson State was really locked in yesterday, and I think there was a point after the second touchdown, I felt really good then that I think it was like, oh my God, this is going to be Jackson State's day. And, I've been through a lot of Jackson State, victories and some really tough losses. And, quite honestly, from a historical standpoint, we've come short, quite often. But to actually, come through with the victory yesterday, that was huge. So I think you saw a lot of that really wash over a lot of people yesterday.
Well, I got one final question, Doc, and this is for all of you guys, if I could, because we've gotten through 2024. It's been a fantastic season. Let me say the inside the HBC, Dr. CAVIL'S inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You guys have been tremendous at your analysis, at your coverage, at your engaging us and informing us. But if I could ask each of you just one question. Now that the season has been encapsulated, we've crowned a national champion. What, from beginning to end and concluding here at the Celebration Bowl, give me your perspective in terms of how this bowl game sort of capsulates, this season. If I can start with you, Doc. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, so it's funny you asked that, Mr. Grant. We started talking about this at the beginning of the season. We talked about the conferences, the MEAC, the SWAC. We talked about the two halves of the SWAC. We talked about the dominance now of the East. We talked about who would be physical, who would come up on top, and how the West would be kind of it depends on which team is playing well this week. So as I look at the conclusion of this week and I look at the dominance of Jackson State, it mirrors the early season thoughts that whoever won this season had to play a physical brand of football. They had to run the ball well. They had to win in the trenches, which was equally important. So to me, that epitomizes the season. The teams that performed well this season, well coached, disciplined, but more importantly, won that battle in the trenches. I think it also helps that you have a crowd that galvanizes you and energizes the team, even through the ups and downs and ebb and flows of the season. And I thought Jackson State epitomized that. North Carolina Central epitomized that a couple of years ago. So I think those teams have kind of shown the formula. Hey, it's got to be physical. You got to have a strong running game. You definitely have to have a strong defense. We talked about it at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the season. We talked about it in the middle, and then here we are, and you look at who's winning. And for me, that to me stands out as something that epitomizes just this season. I also would like to give an honorable mention to Hart. The Hart, you listen to those players, and you listen to Coach TC. You can talk X's and O's all you want, but you talk about the Heart. They're laying it on the field. And to me, that epitomizes the season. I hope that, addresses the question you were trying to ask, Mr. Grant.
Go ahead, AD Drew.
Great question there, Mr. Grant. And I've got two perspectives I want to bring. Number one of the big concerns at the beginning of the season with CFP out there was concern about the shift and moving the game up 1 week. And there were concerns out there, legitimate, some not legitimate, on what type of game we were going to get, the quality of the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Brother Grant, I see why you get paid the big bucks. From a media perspective, I think every question that people may have had about this game being moved up a week was answered legitimately. That was the question: would the SWAC be at a further disadvantage by moving the game up 1 week? Well, that got answered by a 21-point victory by the SWAC representative. So I think we could put that one to bed for right now. Like Mike like to say, data point SWAC on that one. Quote my inner Mike Washington. The other thing, seeing what I have seen over the years of working with the Cricket Celebration Bowl, it really makes me want to double down on the Division II version of the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Despite the success of Virginia Union and Miles, and who would have not loved to have seen Dr. Alvin Parker and Dr. Sam Shade going heads up for a national championship, I know there's some type of way, with everything that I've experienced over these years, and especially this year on the FCS level, that we can find a way to duplicate this on the Division II level, some city, someplace, sometime in the near future. So I just say it makes me want to double and triple down on doing whatever I can do to help get that mission accomplished.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Charles.
Yeah, I think the thing that jumps out at me is the more I know, the more I don't know. Because if you told me that it would have been Jackson State and South Carolina State standing at the end, I just could not have 100% confirmed it. I think there were legitimate questions for both teams, but I mean it just underscores how much of every season is a grind, and you don't know week to week what might happen. And we saw some surprises along the way. We saw South Carolina State step up when they needed to. I think the epic game for me, Jackson State, Florida A&M, where Jackson State was able to make plays down the stretch, and then the rest of the SWAC was in chase mode chasing Jackson State. So it kind of comes down to it's like every season, there are going to be 3 or 4 pivotal plays that you don't know what's going to happen. And, I like to think that I try to give some good analysis, but I know year in, year out, I just don't know what's going to happen. But it really underscores how much of a grind, how much of a work it is to get to the Celebration Bowl. But I think the other thing that really jumps out for me now is we're starting to get a generation that's starting to understand how important the Celebration Bowl is. So I think that's one of the big things that's starting to, kind of sink into the psyche, that this game is part of the culture. This game is the must-see event, and you're starting to see a generation really kind of embrace it even more.
Definitely.
Good stuff. I know, Mike, you have to leave, and we're coming to a close as well officially. I'm going to have to get myself to the airport as well. But to answer John's question succinctly, I think the culture won. The culture continues to win, and I think that is extremely important. And when I say the culture wins, I'm saying all those administrators that are involved that understand the importance and do the due diligence, whether that's on the academic side or athletic side, that puts their best foot forward to put teams in a position to get it done. Particularly those we celebrate, they got it done. Want to give a shout out to Ashley Robinson in terms of the VP of Athletics at Jackson State, the AD at South Carolina State in terms of what he's done for his team. Those involved in the SWAC and the MEAC, from the commissioners, Sonny Steele, Dr. Charles McCullen in terms of what they're doing. I told you about the presidents, also the players. People like Jacobian Morgan, Eric Phoenix, Irv Mulligan, Nigel Johnson, Isaiah Spencer, Diego Addison, doing it on the defensive side. Those like Anthony Petty that got interceptions, Shamar Hawkins, really making big plays. The kickers, Jordan Smith and KJ Chisholm, returning quick some big plays. Gerardo Basea, Kyle Callegos, making plays in many different ways. Even the punters, Matt Nall, Dyson Roberts. Too many players to name individually, but those are some of the highlights of teams that have had great emphasis of what the culture is about. Just as important, those fans that travel near and far by plane, by bus, by car, some of them in the city finding ways to get over here, those external, internal, and not just the fans of the two institutions, but fans of HBCU sports. The culture won and continues to win. But folks like John Grant and his team, whether it is looking at different ideas and not afraid to try new things, supporting the Battle of the Band year 2 in terms of what it brings together to add the culture, what he's done with the Divine Nine, bringing them and getting them involved in terms of the service that they continue to do. Some of the professional teams in terms of NFL workshops. So all those that have come in a part of this and decided that this culture is important, I think the culture won. So that would be my framework and kind of sharing that the importance of when we come together, there's nothing that we can't do. And while we can have fun and battle it out in terms of competition, at the end of the day, we're one in terms of HBCUs and what we've been able to do for people that believe in us, what we've done for the United States of America, to be frank with you, in the world. We literally have changed and continue to change and do wonderful things. So the culture won. I did want to make sure before we kind of closed out that we acknowledge the question out there. There's one question about the SWAC championship game being a postseason event. Historically, in 1999, there was a rule on the books that you needed 12 teams to have a championship game and not count as a postseason event. And those that know the history, back then, when they divided into divisions, it was 10 schools, so it was 5 in each division. The commissioner did not realize that at the time. You had the Heritage Bowl that was coming to a close. And so the SWAC championship game was played, but the year after that, the NCAA did essentially provide a warning to the SWAC that was a postseason event, which meant the Heritage Bowl meant they played 2 and you only had to play 1. They were able to get the rule changed by the NCAA, telling you again how people work together. And since then, they took away the clause essentially about having to have the 10 teams to have a championship game. And so with the 12, it wouldn't matter, but that's how it works, and rules continue to change. So I wanted to give a little history about that. I did give the update that John Grant is also responsible, the brainchild, in putting together the Man of the Year. That was a question out there. So I wanted to provide that, but I wanted to say thanks for everybody. Again, this has been a marvelous football season. We'll continue to do the work in basketball. Thank you, John Grant. It is apropos that we close out the season with this Sunday episode of this fall campaign on Show 600. And so I want to say thank you for all the followers, all the folks that support us, all those, the media that recognize us, that works with us, and do their diligence to try to make sure that they bring a bright light to this culture that's so special. So make sure you check that out. Carlos Brown will be back with us as he does his show on Saturdays. Tonight you have AD and Brian for the Sports Wrap. Continue to do what's necessary to support us at the BCSN network. We are in America, and these things do cost. So anything that you can do to support us in terms of us being able to support you with ads and things of that nature are greatly appreciated, because it gives us a chance to be in front of you and try to do our best to give you the dialogue that's needed. So again, I just want to say thanks to everybody. Make sure those that are traveling, has been said, that you travel safely, get back to your destination. For those that celebrate Christmas, certainly Merry Christmas, certainly Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa. And again, thank you for John for being so willing to support us and being out front to do what's necessary to get those. So your friendship is beyond that, and something that I will always appreciate. So thank you. Want to say thank you to AD Drew, one of the best ones out there that finds a way. His time extremely busy, but when I call and need him, he's there. Charles is still on here, partner. We met by happenstance, but we can't be separated then. Mike is not here to hear this, but I'll make sure I tape it and send it back to him. he's been an older brother I never had, so I wanted to say appreciate him for all that he always has done. He's literally brought me to the light.
Hey, Dr.
Understand that. So wanted to
Dr.
say
Cavill.
that. Yes.
Okay, I have to do this. As the former defending HBCU national champion, Charles Bishop, it is my honor to pass the national championship trophy from the highest of 7 hills at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University to thee I love. Cherish this trophy for the next 365 days, Charles.
And that I shall, the delegation from 1400 Lynch Street, we happily accept the handing over of the trophy. Thank you, sir.
Well done. Well said. Very appropriate. And that's how we do it here. But I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to Roy, who finds a way through his times, tribulations, to make it. And all he wanted to ever do was provide a platform for HBCUs, particularly for their athletic programs. And he finds a way not to be denied at that. So thank you, Roy, for what you do. Again, thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues, which means thank you for all the lab listeners out there that continues to support us in multiple ways. We will not be what we are without you. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, the Dean of HBCU Sports. I'm from Inside the Lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Shout out to the crew, BJ Jones and Joshua Sims, as they continue to develop HBCU Nightly, pass it on to a whole different generation that does it slightly differently, but they have the same goals in bringing light to HBCU sports. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Make sure you check them out tonight as well. Again, thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock, we will close our Sunday edition again, which we do at 9, as you know. We look forward to next week as we will continue and start to get into some basketball talk. We'll do some final pieces and closures on the football season with that. But with that being said, I also wanted to shout out Jackson State from Travis Hunter, who did mention Jackson State in terms of him winning the Heisman Trophy. And congratulations to him, Coach Prime, Shadur, and all those involved that traveled and took their time at Jackson State University. Dream big. Continue to move forward. Follow me at Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. That's DrKenyattaCavill. Facebook and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, as you know, Facebook and YouTube. Facebook Live, YouTube on demand. Follow us on BCSN. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Course.
Drew.
Lecture.
And John Grant.
I've always wanted to say this and be a part of this. Dismissed.